Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Sean and I'm an elder at Andover Baptist Church. Yesterday was day one in this week of devotions which I've titled I Never Knew That. Or maybe I should have called it I Thought I Knew That. Because what we've really been looking at here are things we often believe to be true, to be facts, but that actually are not. And this is often because for much of our lives we've been told that something is a fact, or I've just heard it repeated so many times that we've come to believe it to be true when the reality is that it is not. Things like Marie Antoinette, Queen of France, who supposedly said of the French peasants just before the revolution in the late 18th century, "Let them eat cake." You may have heard that phrase mentioned before. The quote's even included in the lyrics of the song Killer Queen by the group Queen, but it's not true. There's no record of her ever uttering those words. It's a myth probably created by the revolutionaries in France who wanted to add to the reasons to overthrow the royal rule. Or the fact that toilet seats are covered in germs. Well, that may be true in some cases, but because we're often fastidious in cleaning toilets regularly in our homes, studies have shown that they are relatively clean, and in general, mobile phones have many more germs on them than toilet seats do. I know, that made you put your phone down, didn't it? There are sometimes things in the Bible too that we wrongly come to believe as facts. Did you know that it is unlikely that there were 3 wise men who visited the baby Jesus, and that those who did visit probably didn't go to the stable, as is often depicted in so many Christmas cards? Here's what's said of the visit in the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 2. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose, and we have come to worship him." And then it goes on in verse 9 and onwards. After they had heard the king, that's King Herod, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and they worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. The plural word magi is used to describe the visitors in Matthew, and the word actually describes a type of Persian priest of the time. Nowhere is the word king, or even the phrase wise men, mentioned in the story, and nowhere are we actually told that there were 3 of them. It's thought that the fact that there were 3 gifts described, gold, frankincense and myrrh, may account for us coming to the conclusion that there were 3. And there are prophecies earlier in the Bible, a number of them, that mention kings giving gifts, such as in Psalm 72, verse 10, where it says, "The kings of Tarshish and of the isles shall bring presents. The kings of Sheba and Seba shall offer gifts." Matthew even states that the Magi visited Jesus in a house and not in a stable, so it's likely that they arrived some time after he was born and were certainly not present alongside the shepherds, as is so often depicted on our Christmas cards and in our nativity plays. Over time, the Magi have even been given names: Melchior, Caspar and Balthazar, though this is certainly not mentioned anywhere in the Bible. Whether there were 3 high-ranking visitors to the young Jesus, or many more than that, whether they arrived the night he was born or sometime later, and whatever their names really were, it doesn't matter. The important part of this story is really to show that everyone, no matter what status they hold, be it lowly like the shepherds, or be it high-ranking positions like the Magi, all bowed before Jesus. And one day, every knee will bow before God. God is all-powerful, all-knowing, everlasting, and so much bigger than we can imagine. And yet, he loves each of us as his children. He knows us better than we know ourselves. Praise God. We are so blessed, aren't we? Why not spend just a little time today thinking about his immense power and thanking him for his love and forgiveness for you? I've chosen a song today which describes how great God is. It's called Majesty. I'm sure you know it. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for listening to me today, and I hope you can join me again tomorrow.